I had to take a break from music for a while, at least posting. I don't want people to get the impression that I just stopped making music entirely. Several reasons. I don't really want to go into too many personal details about what has happened necessarily. But yeah, I was going through some shit, to be honest. I was going through some stuff. It wasn't really a great time. I think at the rate that I was doing in terms of music releasing, like actual content, it takes a while to make a song. Let's be real. I'm doing all the work myself. I'm coming up with the idea. I'm mixing. I'm mastering. But before that, I had no, write the lyrics, record the lyrics, figure out what, how the song's supposed to be structured. What instruments do I use? Then I have to mix it all together, master it. I have to do all these things where, and then on top of that, actually, you have the uploading and marketing and album cover creation and that type of stuff in social media and blah blah blah. It's like I'm doing everything, and it's a lot. And I'm not gonna pretend like it's not. I mean, for an indie or sort of independent creator, someone that doesn't have a label or have a bunch of engineer support or marketing or all these other sort of things to help get them like just create the music or get the idea down or record. I have to do all that myself. And I'll be honest, I have a full-time job. It funds all of this stuff that you see. Like, I mean, that's my buddy's drum set back there. It's not mine, but my job, I have to work a full-time job in order to survive and live in this economy. It'd be, in a perfect world, I would just be able to create music and I would be able to make money from that. And I wouldn't have to worry about where I'm going to get my next meal or when rent's due, all that. But, the real world is kind of a kicker, like you have to do something that you're probably not really super passionate about, but you need to do it because it makes you money, right? And you can't really, the things that you're really passionate about don't really sell, or it's very competitive or some other thing like that. So yeah, it's difficult. I mean, coming to terms with accepting that I can't just do full-time music is definitely a bummer. I mean, but it's also, help with my social life. I met a lot of people and friends that I wouldn't have ever met if I just, stayed inside and done music, right? I met a lot of people. I have a great network of friends and family and people that support me. And, obviously what's realistic is that I'm going to keep working. Now, the big distinction here is that before I had this whole like, I guess maybe depression, it was just like a sad boy phase. Stuff happened. It wasn't a great time. I'm over it now. Like, we're a lot better. Now, my mood's not like 100% where it used to be, but I'm definitely doing a lot better. My whole goal was like, I wanted to release music that I created, right? I wanted to showcase it. But I didn't really have all the tools and faculties and especially the tools to really do good video creation and do stuff quickly. Um, Thanks to my friend, he's got a build page where he does like ATV routing and stuff like that, geo builds. He has pretty good videos that he makes. And when I asked him about it, I was like, hey, how do you do these videos? How do you edit this? It looks like really cool. Like, how do you do this or that? And he told me about the software, and it's DaVinci Resolve. You can use it for a lot of, it's a professional software. You can do a lot with it. And I think that changed a lot. Learning how to use that software, I was taking, again, when I went back home for Christmas, that's when I sort of was figuring this stuff out. Around the same time, I also started using this free DJ software that I can just do on the laptop. And I got a lot of cool videos to show about that and me learning how to use the software, learning how to do the transitions with the sort of controls and all that stuff and how it works and just experimenting with it and see what works, and having fun is the biggest part about it. But I was doing that, so I learned the DJ software. I learned this video editing software. I got over, I wouldn't call it depression. I would just call it like a slump in my life, a part where it wasn't really, things weren't really looking too good. That's why I had to take a break after I posted I believe it was the Sunlight Where You Are mashup. it was this drum and bass song with like John Summit and then Adele's Rolling in the Deep. It was a mashup I made, and then I uploaded that. I had sort of kind of reached the pinnacle of what my previous editing software could do. Again, iMovie doesn't really have a lot of capabilities compared to a professional like Final Cut Pro, DaVinci, or Adobe or something like that. Like there's a lot of capabilities that I have now with this new editing software. So I took some time to learn that, which is why I've been continuing on the break, and also just getting a small backlog of videos to prepare, just so I don't get stressed out over because what I want to do is upload once a day, except for maybe extraneous circumstances like something happens, or I can't be at my computer, right? I'm not home, right? But for the most part, I want to be pretty consistent, like every day. Like there'll be some exceptions here and there, right? But it's just like going on a diet, right? You eat clean for basically every day. You can have a cheat day every once in a while, but as long as you go back to the routine, there's no problem, right? Like it's not like the end of the world. Most people, what they'll do is if they are on a diet and then they stop eating well for one day, they go to like Raising Cane's, or they go to McDonald's and eat a shit ton of food. Oh, my diet's done. I'm done. I don't have to. Or they skip the gym for a vacation and they're like, oh, well, I can't get back on my fucking routine. I'll just skip leg day, and then they end up skipping all these other days and then just don't go to the gym anymore, right? So it's an excuse that people kind of come up with. It's like, oh, well, I fucked up this time. Well, I can just, it doesn't matter, right? But it's the same thing with music too. Like I don't want to be the case where I upload and then I'm like, oh, well, I don't have an idea, or blah, blah, blah. So that's one thing. I want to be able to sort of have a buffer of video ideas and stuff that I can just upload per day, ideally. I want to get to that goal. Another thing why I stopped uploading, besides the stuff that happened in my life, the slump, and sort of learning these new tools, was the sort of the frequency of stuff I was creating versus catching up to what I had before. Because I've made music all over my life, and what I'm doing is trying to maybe remaster older things and whatnot. But there's a certain finite number of songs and stuff I've created that I can showcase, right? And it takes a while to make each song. You run the numbers. I'm gonna run out of stuff if I, only do like one video per song, and then I do it like once a week or something. I ought to run out. I'd run out of everything that I've ever created in 6 months if I were to do it daily, right? So how do I upload daily but also still have content to post, right? So that was another thing, So how do I upload daily but also still have content to post, right? So that was another thing, And I think learning the DJ software, doing some like other video ideas, just trying to showcase what I can do. For example, I can play by ear. I can learn a song pretty quickly just by listening to it. I can get the gist of the song, get the chords, the melody, sort of putting it all together. And it's a skill I have, right? And I've worked on it. It's not like there's talent, obviously, like the musical ear is a talent. But, you work on it, your skill over and over, and that helps out your talent, right? Maybe you discover a talent. Who knows? If you practice at it, you might discover that you are talented in something, right? So I would say it's not like don't practice, right? I'm not telling you, you just got to be talented. Just you have to do. Having both is ideal, right? Like obviously, practice is going to help. Sometimes people, they practice and practice and practice, but maybe they're not really talented. That's fine. Sometimes you can do really good with that. Like I don't want to like say, oh, you can't do it because you're not talented. You have to work really hard at it. Maybe work you might have to work a lot harder than your peers, right? There's a lot of stuff I'm doing behind the scenes, but you don't see the result. Now I want to sort of like bridge the gap there. And there's a lot of stuff that I've already uploaded too, but again, if I go at that same frequency with all this long form the content that takes me weeks to make a song or weeks to make a remix, or it takes a while, a few days, like, again, a full-time job too, responsibilities and all these other things, like I don't have infinite time, right? And if I were to just upload all that stuff immediately, well, one, I'm gonna run out of stuff. Two, it's gonna get probably no traction. People are gonna forget about it because there's just so much content. And it's like, That's just not the right approach. I think the better approach is doing social media, short form content, doing some stuff that maybe isn't a song, doesn't take me too long to do and record and edit and upload, and just have more videos of that sort of in between. So if I were to upload all of this type of content up here, and then I run out of it in 6 months, that's it. I mean, then you might have to wait a while. I don't want to do that. I would rather, in order to meet my goal of uploading once a day, ideally, I have to do a lot more of these videos down here to fill in the gaps for the videos that I post here, right? And then, something might get really viral here. People start following, people start getting interested, and then they check out this content, which is what I really much prefer doing. But I still like this. It's not like I don't like it. It's just this is higher priority, right, for the work. That's a great strategy, I think. Just like prioritizing different stuff, having different tiers of videos and things. They say the whole meme of like, oh, you turn 25 and then now you're like, your brain fully develops. But like, I've had this like life changing event that's happened this, the end of this last year. That's, a lot of stuff happened like very close together. Just should have shook everything. And I had to get back on my feet. And it's made me sort of sit and think. I have a lot of time to think about things and what I want to do, who I want to be going forward. And I think doing musical content, being a musician, just owning it, owning the fact, accepting the fact that, in order for people to acknowledge you as a musician, you have to showcase your stuff. You have to advertise, you have to market it to some extent. And no one's going to help me do it. I'm the only one that's going to be able to hold myself to do it, which is what I'm going to do. All right, that's the goal. I've done stuff in the past, where we made little skits and stuff, or I try to do gaming, but I'm not really a great gamer, and being like a videographer, being like a director for a film isn't really something that I'm good at. But what I'm good at is music. So why don't I use that experience that I've had in the past, kind of just like fucking around and whatever, and apply that to what I'm actually really good at, which is this stuff, right? That stuff. So yeah, that's part of it. Look out for a lot of cool videos coming, probably after like mid-February. Not gonna slow down. We're only you can only go up, right, from the bottom, right? And not like I was at rock bottom, but I definitely was in a rough spot. The main thing this year is to be consistent. Again, better video quality, more video ideas, consistent uploads, and just work on myself and just have that bleed into the music.